Good morning and welcome to another episode of Curly's Ag. Today I've got a very special one for you today. We've got some veggies to look at. We're in a very special part of the world here in DC, Canada. And we've got a special guest with us, and that is none other than Curtis Stone. Alright, so as I mentioned guys, we're at Curtis Stone's place here in BC, Canada. And the drive here has been magical. The mountains around us, like this is completely different to where we're from. We've got pines
lots
and
of mountains, a lot of Douglas fir.
We've got animals. We had the deer on the way here. I should have taken videos, but I was too busy driving.
Yeah.
Chipmunks or squirrels. I'm not sure what they were.
Both chipmunks and squirrels.
And it's just, yeah, it's divine scenery. Beautiful weather as well, with the sun out.
Hey, yeah, you showed up for the good weather. You brought the good weather, Curly.
This is the Queensland weather we're bringing.
Yeah, that's right. You're fucking right.
So Curtis is going to take us on a quick tour.
Yeah.
And I want to show you guys I suppose a lot of things are going to be very different to our farm here. But there's people in this sort of climate that watch us, and I want to show you guys how Curtis does his thing.
Totally.
So Curtis, let's go for a tour.
Let's do it.
Mate?
We got our Cyber Clydesdale here too.
Hey, nice one.
Ready to roll.
Nice
Got
Cyber Clydesdale there. That's pretty shiny, Curtis. Hasn't got much use yet.
Well, no, it hasn't. And I got the blade on there. I was using this to level sand in our house. You're all good. In our house, and it actually works kind of neat.
Right.
But anyway, what we can talk.
Well, yeah, well, I'll leave you do them videos on the Cyber Clydesdale. They see enough of that with me. They want to see your farm.
So this is we're kind of in, if you're familiar with the permaculture zones of use, the Bill Mollison idea of, you got your zone 0 in a way, which is your immediate house, and then you got your zone 1, which is the area around your house, and zone 2 and 3, and so on and so forth. So we're kind of in this zone 1 area where this little hub is the center of a lot of activity. I walk between the cabin that we're living in right now, which is
that's your home.
Yeah, right now we're building a bigger home.
Okay.
But this came with the property. It's
right.
just kind of a beater cabin.
Yep.
But it's great. We live in it for now.
Right. So you walk out your front door and you pick your veggies.
That's right. I pick the veggies and I come to the. Usually my first order of business is coming out and coming here. I'm either going to the greenhouse, going to the garage, or my office in there.
Right.
And between the gardens. So we're in the kind of zone 1 area where in the winter this is this greenhouse is year round.
Yes.
And then this greenhouse is year round as well.
Okay, that's heated. Cool. And that's a double.
That's double poly as well. That also has a climate battery. You can see the air ducting up top,
the top
which takes the air and puts it underground.
That's great. And okay, so you just circulate it underground.
Yeah, and so what it does is it diffuses the heat in the ground, and then that heat radiates at night. Because when your air temperature is warmer than the ground, you can put the air temperature in the ground to warm it. But then when the air temperature is cooler than the ground radiates heat.
So just for reference, what is your night temperature here?
Well, in the summer, it's warm now.
Right.
I mean, in the last little bit, we've got down to 6 Celsius.
Yep.
But that was cold.
Right.
But now, like the warm weather's back, it's get down to maybe 12 at night.
Okay, and winter time, because that's when you'll be using that mostly.
Winter time we'll get down to, at the very coldest I've seen, minus 34.
Okay.
But I think that lasted 2 days. Probably on average in the winter, we're at minus 15.
Okay, what about daytime? Like, what's your battery charging temperature?
It depends on this. Charging temperature.
Yeah. So like you said, because you're taking it down.
I gotta keep them. For this.
Yeah, because like you're taking. Oh, sorry, I mean like because we're talking about this. So you take your hot air down in the daytime.
Yeah. So the ground temperature in the winter, if it's getting sunny, I can be pumping air that's probably 40 degrees Celsius up top.
40.
Yep. 40.
In winter.
In winter. If it's sunny, 40 degrees, absolutely.
That's in your greenhouse?
In this one, Curly, 45 up top.
Okay, so
I'll show you that one too.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, so you're taking 45 degrees Celsius of heat down, and I can bring the air temperature in the ground. It never really goes below 7.
Right.
But I can bring it up to 7. So right now it's 17 degrees coming out of that ground. But I have vents on the back of this one too. So
what's the outside temperature?
At night?
At daytime, sunny.
In the winter.
In winter.
Oh, it'd be minus 10.
So it's minus 10 outside and it's 40 inside.
Yeah,
up top,
probably
top.
In the ambient, probably 28.
Right.
In there on a
That's
sunny
still
day.
a really nice temperature.
Oh, it's lovely. 28's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about on a cloudy day? What does it
On a
get to?
cloudy day, that will, well, it depends. At the coldest part of winter, on a cloudy day, this won't get below freezing, but it'll get to maybe 2 degrees. And I also have a PEX radiant floor in that too.
Oh, okay.
That I can
okay.
burn wood.
Right.
So I can keep that
you have to.
above freezing.
Is that your burner there?
That's the burner, yeah. It's
That's
not
the burner,
fully
yeah.
installed yet. We can check it out later.
Yeah, okay. Let's focus. We're getting
We'll
lost.
focus on the garden
yeah, let's
stuff, but-
start here.
Yeah. So anyways, just, standard 30-inch beds,
drip
right?
tape because...
I do drip and overhead. I always do hybrid water.
Okay.
I do 2 types.
Why is that?
Just because when I'm establishing a crop,
Yes.
especially if it's really dry, I want to be able to throw water
Right.
everywhere to wet the whole area and keep the surface
Yeah.
doused.
Yeah.
But then once a crop's established, drip is just more efficient
Yes.
and more effective.
What's-
because once I have a canopy of growth on here,
Yeah.
so when this gets about
Yep.
50% more foliage, then I'll just water with drip all the time.
And what's your water supply here?
Well, mountain
And
water,
It's good?
primary water,
But like a good quantity?
God's water. It's
Like, what's your flow rate?
10 GPM, 10 gallons per minute.
Strike. I don't know. We work in
I don't
liters
know.
per
Well,
minute.
that's probably how many? There's 2.2 liters in a gallon. So,
so it's
that would
20
be it'd be
22.
22 liters a minute,
minute, which is and now it'd be like
which is
60.
tons. It's tons. I can pump.
Okay.
I've got uphill. I've got gravity feed cisterns 100 feet above us,
Okay.
up the mountain there. And so my well, which is an infinite source, I have
right.
I've got.
And you pump all day,
I can pump fucking.
and
till the
that's
end of
electric,
time.
is it?
Yep, solar. Yeah.
Solar, yeah, solar
And so the pump just pumps uphill, and then it just passively gravity feeds everywhere.
Perfect. Okay, so you've got water to burn. You just think
I got water to burn.
that the drip tape.
But I like to be efficient with water, and I like to focus water where it's needed too. So once in 3 weeks, once we're getting really into heavy summer and it's
Yeah.
really hot,
Yeah.
I'll water with drip every now and then. But probably I'll throw water on top every now and then, anyways.
Okay, and so a question for me is, and we used to use drip tape, and we went right away from it because it was so labour intensive putting it down.
Yeah.
How do you mitigate that, or
I
is
don't
it not
find
a?
it that labor intensive
Okay.
putting down. I have headers where I can grab the whole thing and just see there's just 2 lines on this bed.
Yes.
And it's easy to move. I don't know. I don't find it that labor intensive.
Okay, but you use the exact same irrigation tape every time, so you just take it off and put it back on.
This is hardly irrigation tape. This is called Eurodrip. It's a
Eurodrip.
18 mil thick
Okay.
poly tube. I've
Okay.
had this same tube for 15 years.
Okay, so you got sort of
No, for
heavy
12
duty.
Heavy duty.
Just
irrigation.
use the same one over and
Same
over
one.
again.
It's for life.
And so, do you typically like just roll that off here, prep your bed, and then put it back on?
I'll pull it off in one way or another. If I'm going to prep this whole, I usually,
You do the whole thing in one hit.
I did with this.
Okay.
These beds are neat too because these are only chicken. I had my winter chickens in a greenhouse here.
Okay.
And so these are no-till beds, no fertilizer.
Yeah. Looks like chicken's been in there after.
Yeah, these
after the
guys
fact.
coming in here, and I know they're getting out of the coop.
Cool. Okay, so you find drip tape definitely works for you in your setting here. All right. So and then you've got beans here, onions
And some
snow
peas. Those are shellers actually.
shells. Are okay.
Yeah, I really I do snow peas in that greenhouse early,
Right.
and I do shellers because they're just better. And I've got interplanted with carrots, so here we can see
Okay, just starting to come up
carrots
there.
coming
Yeah.
up 2 rows on each side,
Yeah.
and so that's
So Curtis, so to be clear, your focus here isn't to sell now; it's basically
No.
to self-sustain.
that's it.
So you're like the same as us. You're really it's focused off grid, so it's not necessarily the most profitable crop. It's basically what you want to
It's not about
eat.
profit at all for me anymore.
No.
I simply grow for my family.
Yeah, it's to be off grid
That's it.
living.
Just hardcore
Perfect.
off grid.
So
Yeah.
we keep that in the context when we're looking here. What
so
we're doing
this
is
is all storage crop. That'll all be
Perfect.
pulled in
Perfect.
in late summer, early fall,
and
stored.
just let us know again. What's your growing season?
Well, I've got, 185 days? Or no, maybe, I just have over 210 days. We have our
2/3.
We're on a neat microclimate here because we're on a southeast facing ridge. And in the winter, my sun's right up there, and
Right.
that's there. And so I have absolutely perfect aspect for the northern hemisphere.
Perfect.
Southeast is better than south, because the early morning light is more valuable than the afternoon light,
Right.
especially in the shoulder season like now. We're going into summer now. Well, we are in summer now, but now it's good because I get a bit of shade in the afternoon because my sun goes way over there, and I get a lot of shade, which is beneficial.
Yeah, okay. And do you get problems like getting sunburnt in summer with it too hot, or not really?
Not like in Australia.
Okay, all right. I just think because we prefer northeast because
Of
that's
course.
when we get our early morning stuff is not as harsh.
That's right. And it's the same here. Southeast is the same thing. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want the early
morning,
sun.
get the plants awake and keep them warmed up.
That's right. And then, at the end of the day, especially with greenhouses,
Yeah.
I like some shade. I want a reprieve from the heat during the day.
Yes, perfect. All right, well, let's go on to your next garden bed
Yeah.
then, Curtis.
Do you want to look at this greenhouse briefly?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So this is the full-on winterized Casa Solar greenhouse. R40 walls, climate battery up there. I can do tropicals in here year-round.
It's warm. Like, it's really warm. You walk in here and you feel
Radiantly warm.
it feels like being at home.
Yeah.
This feels like Queensland.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is vented. I've got bigger vents above the climate battery there that open out. So when I open these windows here,
What?
I can
Yeah.
just exhaust a massive amount of heat.
Right.
It just shoots right outside.
It sucks in and goes straight through.
The climate battery at this time of the year, I'm going to turn it off soon. It's
Right.
of no benefit anymore.
No, it's warm enough.
I'll
in
turn
here.
it on. I'll turn it back on in mid-September and start banking heat going into winter.
So, Curtis, I've just noticed something here I've never seen before. So you've got a double film here and you've got air blowers to keep them separated.
Yeah.
And so does that recirculate, or where does that vent out? Positive pressure.
Well, I have other holes. It just blows out.
Okay, and that's
so-
not wasting your warm air?
No,
Okay.
it's not wasting it at all because it comes back in the greenhouse. But I
Right.
want to have, I want to have that balloon,
Yes.
and that pressure has to go somewhere. Otherwise, it's gonna.
So the air comes in, not out then? Sorry, I might...
Yeah, it's all in here. I'm sucking air from the inside of this greenhouse,
Yes?
and it's blowing out inside of this greenhouse. as
Oh, okay,
well.
back in, because when you said blowing it out, I think you meant blowing it outside.
No. Yeah, it's just coming back in here.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is,
But
this
that
is
gives me an R5 insulation value.
That's magic.
So in the winter, it's critical.
Yeah, I don't know if you
Because
can pick
you
that up
lose all
from
your heat from the top, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right.
And so that's
don't
where
wanna-
the climate battery really comes in handy. Is that during the day I'm taking excess heat and then putting it underground, so that when the air drops, the temperature drops in here, the heat comes up from the ground.
Right,
And
okay.
you really feel it. You'll come in and without any heat in here. No, I mean I do have heat now from the boiler. These
Yes.
are hydronic forced air units.
Yes.
But without heat at all, I can keep this greenhouse probably at the lowest it would get would be 4 degrees, and that'd be minus 32 outside or minus 34 at night, and get down to, I think I once got down to 2.
Right.
But now that I have heat, I can keep it at 18 if I want to keep it
Right,
at 18, right?
okay.
Then it's just way better.
And so let me ask you, you've got grapes in here, and this to me seems like a tropical environment.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be better in a temperate environment, tropical?
Well, this is technically more temperate than tropical.
Is it really?
Absolutely.
It just feels tropical now.
It does because the humidity's high, but it's still temperate. Like,
Okay.
tropical climate, you don't go below, like you don't get cold. Like,
No,
you
that's
never
true.
What's the coldest you get in a tropical?
Well, we're in subtropical. Or,
Yeah.
or you said it was...
Well, I think you're in a warm temperate, but whatever it's
we
called.
get down to 0 pretty well.
Okay.
Once.
So see, you wouldn't be tropical.
No, but it goes... But that's for like half an hour, and then we're at midday is 25 degrees.
Right. Yeah. I think I've looked on the Copenhagen.
Yeah, it might be
You're the warmest of the temperate climates.
Okay, perfect.
But in tropical climates, you never even get down below 10.
Right.
In a real,
Yeah. So my question is, like, with
The
these grapes, we get fungus, we get
Oh yeah, well I got
mildew.
to prune the hell out of these. These are
Right.
I haven't touched these in a few weeks. But the idea with the grapes in the greenhouse is that they give me shade in the summer,
Yep.
and then I get a 2-month extra long grape season with them. I did them in my house that I sold in Kelowna, where most of my urban farmer videos are
Yeah.
made. I had a greenhouse like that,
Right.
there, and I had grapes in there, and I loved it because I would have a grape season that would almost be 4 or 5 months long of picking, and then eventually these are going to grow up all the way.
Yeah.
And it's just going to shade this whole thing out in
Yeah.
the summer,
Yeah.
but then they drop all their foliage
Yeah.
in the winter.
Magic.
But I still get a long grape season.
Yeah, we did it in the front of our house. We've got our whole entrance has got grapes growing over like a Mediterranean.
Yes.
And so in the winter time they will drop.
They just drop.
Summertime it cools the
lovely.
house.
It's lovely.
And so Curtis, this is a diversion, but I don't know if you've ever posted on it. What happened to your gardens in Kelowna that you're running, the urban farms, or
Well,
how
I
did they
sold
go?
that house.
No, but like
and
how, as far as
they're
establishment-
taking them out.
they're taking them out.
Yeah, you mean my old house in Kelowna?
Yeah, well, all the
All
gardens
the
you used to
urban
manage.
farms?
Yeah.
Well, some of them stayed as gardens.
Yeah.
The owners became pretty passionate gardeners. I would
Okay.
say maybe 20% of them did
Right.
that. The rest of them just went back to lawns.
yeah, too lazy. Too many,
lazy.
busy life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Same
Cool,
as
cool.
when we sold our house.
Yeah.
They're tearing out the gardens.
Oh.
The raised beds, all the work I did. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy.
People don't value it like we do, Curtis.
They don't.
When they get hungry one day, they might.
Well, that's right, and then it'll be too late.
It's too late. What do you do?
What do you do? So, you know, one thing to point out here, Curly, is some people, maybe if any, especially so many of you Australians are into permaculture and stuff, you might look at my order of operations and go, why didn't you just do all of your earthworks at once and then do everything after? Well, and so, because you'll see, we'll go down to my food forest. I'm doing earthworks down there. I've got gardens. I'm at a state of flux all over the place. It's because I wanted to get here and get set up and get off grid as soon as I could. So I was flying by the seat of my pants, which is what I've done my entire life. That's how I got into everything. And
keeps life interesting.
Yeah, it does. And so we got a number of stages going on here, But yeah, we came here. We got this place right when the lockdown started getting crazy.
When was that?
With the COVID stuff.
You
know, when we were locking everybody down, everybody's in fear.
2020, 22?
Well, we bought this place in September 2020,
yeah.
But we didn't full-time move here until September 2021.
2021, so that's when you guys started the lockdowns.
You know, we started the lockdowns before that, but we bought this place at the height of all that stuff. What the point of trying to make
right.
The world was crazy at the moment, and I really thought that we were. I still think we are in the beginning of the end, but I really thought things were going to get really bad at that point. And so I, like any father with a family, I'm going to get my family out of the way. I don't want my children being around people wearing masks and being, you know, not seeing people's faces and programming their mind to be in fear. So we came here and just made a lot happen at once. Basically. So I got this garden was the first terrace that I constructed.
Right.
And it's the worst one. I'm building it better. I'm doing it no-till now. My soil's tough here because I had to harvest all these terraces you see where I have gardens. This was all land like this, just scrub like this.
Right.
And so there was no soil on it.
And plenty of rocks.
So many rocks. So I had to build the soil from scratch. And what that meant was I had to harvest the soil from water draws on my property. There's 2 primary draws that come through.
Yeah.
And so we're off there was a primary ridge up here, and now we're on a secondary ridge here off this main ridge, and then there's 2 secondary valleys off of that.
Yeah, okay.
Here and here. And so I go and I harvest the soil there with my excavator.
Yeah, and bring it over.
And then bring it over. And so it's quite a process. I build in drainages, so this terrace all has drainage around. And the reason why drainage is so important for us, Curly, is, and we're in what's called a DFB climate. It's a boreal, high elevation climate. We're not alpine, but we're a zone 5, a USDA zone 5. And we only get 20 inches of rain a year, which is what is that? 2 feet is, call it 50 centimeters of rain a year, but we get 10 feet of snow.
Really?
120 inches of snow.
So your water comes through snow mainly.
And so you want to save water in the winter, but when you get rain, we get monsoon rains that just come in and everything sheds. So you'll see my driveways are rivers.
Right.
And so every time I build a terrace, if I don't have drainage out of it, I'm going to flood the terrace and compromise the integrity of it.
Right.
It happens really fast. And so every single terrace structure you see here, garden, greenhouse, you name it, there's drainage buried in on the high side with porous rock.
Yeah.
So water comes through here, it soaks into here, it disappears, and then it drains underground, down here, and everywhere.
Okay. Well, okay, guys, that's it for this episode. As I was editing through the video, there's like an hour and something of like dense packed information. You know, we go through obviously what you've seen so far, then we're going through his food forest, and then we got to his house and how he builds his house with the thermomass and really cool stuff, and then to his batteries and his off-grid unit. So for our channel, it's all valuable, and that's why I've had to leave it all there. So I've decided to break it up into 4 parts. This is the first. We'll release the next 4 episodes on the next 4 Sundays, our time, 6 o'clock Queensland Sunday, in the afternoon that is. So if you like this episode and you want to see more of what the urban farmer's up to, how to do country living, and we can obviously give you our advice on what we do. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. All that good stuff down there somewhere. and see you guys again next time. Have a good one.